Hello and welcome to In Focus. I am Rom Gayoso, your host. We're approaching WFSF's 25th World Conference in Paris, and it is our 50th anniversary celebration. In this special series of In Focus, we will speak with several of the conference organizers and learn what is in store for the conference. The theme is exploring liminalities, creating spaces for unlimited futures, and there is a lot to discuss there. So let's get going. Well, before we get started, let me say a few words about the show and why we are here. So, this show is a result of a partnership between WFSF and yours truly, Futures Television. We're joining forces to advance sharing of information and knowledge of futures topics. Today, we discuss a very important topic, the conference's program. And for that, we have a very special guest, Dr. John Sweeney. Well, without further ado, let's welcome him to the show. How are you doing today?
Hi, Ram. Doing very well. How are you?
Wonderful. How wonderful to see you and thank you so much for taking the time to share your views with us and the audience. So let's get started. I really want to hear all about the conference program. Please share your thoughts.
Well, let me just say that, of course, expectations are high. This is the 50th anniversary conference. The Global Federation representatives are coming together not only to celebrate, but of course, in hopes that this is going to be one of the most dynamic events and conferences that the organization has had. We, of course, are coming out of the kind of the COVID era and still a challenge in many places, but clearly the world is also facing a number of disruptions. So the theme of liminality and the opportunity for so many people to come together, of course, is really quite special. I'm really most excited that the program is exceedingly diverse. It really reflects the globality of the organization. We have academic institutions represented. We have practice-based approaches. We have experiential. We have indigenous. We have a number of case studies. We really do have a representation, I think, of not only the health of the futures and foresight community globally, but really the richness of the Federation is on display. Of course, we have the extraordinary student event that is occurring as well, and a number of students also presenting during the primary program. And there were so many people submitting and so much interest, we had to extend. So, of course, now we have events on Tuesday. We have workshops on Friday as well. There's even some special events on Monday. And so really, it's become a week-long celebration of futures. And I'm really most excited about all of the different voices that are going to be present. Of course, we have the online event as well. And we have significant representation from a lot of different areas that, of course, are not always represented in types of futures conferences and communities. So for me, it's really exciting to be able to bring this forward. Of course, this would not have been possible without the extraordinary work of Helga and Martin and the entire organizing committee. And then as the chair of the scientific committee, we really relied on ultimately the graces of a number of professionals who gave their time and energy to review the abstracts. And so it really was a labor of love to be able to say, look, we want to provide feedback. We want to make sure we're getting the best content in. And I have to say that we really did create a space to have as many and diverse number of voices as possible.
And that's what's wonderful about the Federation. It's really all inclusive, and we hear so many different and wonderful voices together. Well, you're also the co editor of the World Futures Review, a journal of strategic foresight. Can you tell us a little bit about the publication?
Yes, gladly. So after I finished my PhD, which I did at the University of Hawaii at Manoa under the direction of Dr. Jim Dater, I wanted to get more formally back into higher education. I took a position at the time in Kazakhstan to set up what was then the country's first ever Futures and Foresight Research Institute. And as part of that, I got an email from Jim that said, hey, he was ready to retire from World Futures Review, which had subsequently been World Future Review, formerly the Journal of the World Future Society. It was then purchased by Sage, and Jim took it over and really resuscitated it and really gave it life. And so when someone like Jim Dater emails you and says, hey, are you interested in this? You often say, sure, that's something I need to clearly pay attention to. So initially, World Futures Review was resuscitated by Jim. At that time, a colleague, Anissa Abdullah, who is at Tom Kong University, she and I were co-editors. Now I'm the co-editor with Gene Hoffman of World Futures Review. And ultimately, we are trying to be a space that brings forward a number of special issues. So we've had special issues on different methods. We're just getting ready to publish a special issue on the futures triangle. We've also been the first journal to publish special issues on certain geographies that typically aren't represented. So we had a special issue on Central Asia and Kazakhstan in particular. And I think we're trying to hold a particular niche within the field to allow for practice and research really to coexist. Of course, there's a number of amazing journals that are bringing forward lots of fantastic research, but we're really committed to helping also to nurture first-time authors and to really try to be a space where if someone has an idea for a special issue, we're willing to take a chance. We now have a poetry special issue that's coming forward. And so we really are trying to blur the borders and the boundaries around research and practice and to try to be a critical and creative space for scholars, even if people don't think of them as scholars, to bring forward innovative ideas.
How wonderful. And last, are you excited about the conference? What are you expecting to see?
I can't wait. I really have been counting down ever since this has come together. Of course, when I was contacted about the opportunity to join the organizing committee and then to, of course, coordinate the scientific committee, it's been something that I've been tremendously excited about. It was 10 years ago in Romania that I went to my first Federation conference. And at the time, of course, there were a number of us from the Hawaii Futures Program. Jim Dater made sure that we were there in attendance. At the time, I was the youth voice, the youth representative. And so in the last decade, to make the transition, to help to support the event, to really create a space for other students to be able to come as well, it really means a lot. I think the one thing that I appreciate most and I'm most excited about the Federation is that it is a celebration of the past 50 years. But of course, with this group, as we know, it's also looking forward. What is to come? What's the next 50 years of the Federation? And how do we carry on this legacy of trying to create a better future for all? That, of course, is at the heart of the Federation. So I'm really excited to see friends, to make, of course, new friends, and to really continue the legacy that the Federation has carried forward, which is trying to make not only the world a better place, but to trying to shape a better future for all.
We do need people to work together to make the world a better place for sure. Well, thank you so much, John. Well, folks, let's take a look at the conferences. And actually, first, let's start at the WFSF website. This is, of course, WFSF.org and World Future Studies Federation website. First, you can see a little bit about us, what is the Federation and the work we do, learn a little bit about our activities. There are several wonderful resources in there. And of course, there's the communications. That's where you find In Focus, the show, which is a partnership between WFSF and Futures Television. And we hope you become so excited you join us as a member, a full member, or if you're a student, you can be a student member of the World Future Studies Federation and be part of this wonderful sharing organization. Of course, you have here information about the conference. Well, actually, why don't we go there? Let's take a look at the conference's website. And there we are. So here, this is the conference's website. By the way, the links will be in the description section of this video, both WFSF and, of course, the conference's website. Here, you can find information about registration. As Dr. Sweeney just mentioned, there's also the online event and there's a student event. It's not just the in-person event. So there's a lot to explore and a lot to get familiarized. You can learn a little bit about the organizing team, the location. It's the Col de Pont in Paris, France. And of course, there's the program here. That was the goal for our update today, was to hear a little bit about the program. And if you have a chance, join us, and you can subscribe. If you scroll all the way to the button, you're going to find the subscribe to updates button. So you can be up to date with the latest and greatest on the program and, of course, about this event. So, folks, it's time for us to say thank you so much. So I would like, first, thank you, Dr. Sweeney, for being here with me and the audience today. And folks, thank you so much for being here with us. Again, thank you so much from WFSF.org, and we hope to see you in Paris. See you soon.